In today's video, we're going to talk about what's going on here. This used to have 5 open air rigs with 6 GPUs in each rig, 5 3060 Ti's and one 3080, all non-LHR. And now we're down to 1 rig, 6 GPUs. Most of the boxes are gone and it's not even running. So what's going on? Let's talk about it. I think to really understand what it is that I'm doing and where my mindset is at, we need to kind of rewind a little bit and look where I started, what I originally had, my thought process on moving forward, and what I'm going to be doing in the future. So let's rewind time just a little bit. Here we are. This is where I was at the height of the Ethereum, all those profits that we had going on. I've got 5 open air rigs, 6 GPUs in each rig. However, if you look at this rig right here, you'll see 1 GPU is missing. That's because I have it in this PC right here across the way. And this PC is kind of how I did maintenance. I also mined with it, and I had Chia running on this. So this was that complete operation. I had my fans. I had a really good system set up here. Merge happened, and then we know what happened to profitability after that. Now, why does my farm look the way that it does now versus where this was? And that's because the amount of money that we were making as miners with this setup versus what we can do with the same setup in today's bear market is substantially different. Now, I do have the 6 Tesla Powerwalls and the 70 solar panels, so I can run all of this with no power costs each month. However, it just doesn't make sense to run this type of wattage, this type of equipment, and only earn pennies a day. And something I've always been really interested in is, or are the ASIC miners. Now, the difference with the ASIC miners and the GPUs, obviously, is that we can switch from pretty much any algorithm that's GPU mineable at any point in time. We can even mine unmineable things through the unmineable site with these GPUs. However, the trade-off is that it's more expensive, it's a lot more work, it uses a lot more power versus something like an ASIC machine. And the disadvantage of the ASIC machine is that, yes, you are running this 1 unit, 2 units, 3 units, however many you can run in your home, but you can usually only mine one particular type of coin, or the mining coins that you can really mine is substantially smaller depending on the ASIC that you get. Now, something that I'm really interested in and looking at, and I have been looking at, were the Jazz miners. Now, originally, these Jazz miners were 10, 12, 15 grand a piece. And what I did now with this market, crypto's down, but equipment's down as well. So this seems like the best time to sort of pivot a little bit, get ready for that next crypto bull run expected in 2024, beginning of 2025, right after the Bitcoin halving. Again, not financial advice, need to put that out there, but just be ready to really maximize my power and my Megahash and choose a coin that I feel is going to really make a lot of profit in that next run based off of the equipment and my power usage. So let's look at the Jazz miners right now. The one website that I've been working with on getting these miners is Jingle Mining. Their staff is exceptionally friendly. They've been working with me. We've been negotiating prices. And so that's the website, even though we are ordering from China and we do have a few extra hurdles that we do have to go through instead of ordering something here in the US. It seems to be the best price. You just have to wait a little bit for it to ship to you. Anyway, with the Jazz miners, if we look at the different Jazz miners, you can see the Megahash versus the price versus the wattage, which is really, really huge. The one Jazz miner that was just at the top of everyone's list was the X4-1U. And this particular miner was, what was it getting? It was around 240 watts, and you were getting, was it 520? Yep, 520 megahash at 240 watts. That's like running 13080 or 100 megahash. And here you're getting, over 500 megahash. The one problem that I kept seeing with these types of miners, this particular miner right here, is that if you were mining in your home, you would need some sort of server case or somewhere to keep this thing quiet. Now, there have been modifications that have come out to really reduce the noise of this machine. And the other thing that it had going against it is that it only has a 5 gigabyte RAM. So that means that you're limited to the types of coins that you can mine. When this was at its height, I guess around 15 grand a pop, Ethereum, which is what people were really mining with this, was below the 5 gigabyte DAG size. So you could mine with this no problem. However, right before the Ethereum merge, it went over the 5 gigabyte DAG size. So then you can no longer mine certain ETH hash algorithms. Now, there are other ETH hash coins out there that you can mine, like ETHW. And what that one did is it continued on with the ETH hash algorithm at the same DAG size. So it's over 5 gigabytes, and therefore you cannot mine that particular coin with this. But ETC, Ethereum Classic, you can. And I believe you can mine on this until 2028, somewhere in that time frame. Not long after this particular miner came out, they came out with the Jazz Miner X4Q. And this is one of the newer ones right here, but the one that everyone was really looking at was the X4Q that has 1040 megahash at 370 watts. Now, originally, I think the wattage was around 450 watts, something like that. But now they've really honed in on the power consumption of this particular miner, which is at 370 watts. So 370 watts, that's like running one 3090 with the power consumption and a 3090 only getting about 120 megahash. And you see how much more you're getting. On top of that, this unit is self-enclosed. So it's almost like a plug it in, set it and forget it type thing. And it's quiet, which is the X4-Q. You can simply put this thing in a room, and I think it's, what is the decibel level? Let's see, noise at 40 decibel level, noise level. So somewhere around, or even quieter than just a PC running. It's super, super quiet. You're still going to put off the heat. So this is what I'm looking at getting a few of, right? Selling my GPUs, which I've been doing, taking that money and investing in these, but then you're like, these guys only have a 5 gigabyte DAG size that it can, or RAM for it to work with for DAG size. And you're right. So for this particular miner, or these few Jazz miners that I get, these things are going to run or mine ETC. In my personal opinion, I believe ETC is here. You've got all the miners that were mining Ethereum have jumped over to ETC, and those miners are providing that security, which is extreme right now at the moment, since everyone seems to be mining that, since that's where all the ASICs jumped up. jump to, you're getting that all that security, which is what miners provide. That's why we mine. However, coming up in, where is the new one coming up? We have this one in May. All right. In between May 1st and May 31st, the next evolution of the Jazz Miner is coming out. It's the X16-Q. Again, we're running with that quiet server, something you could just have in the room with you. You won't really hear it. It's 1845 megahash. Again, this is the ETC algorithm is what it's kind of speaking on. You can mine the ETC or ETH hash algorithms. And what's really, really good is that, again, this thing is only running at 630 watts. 1,845 megahash running at 630 watts. That's less than two 3090s. And you're only getting what, 340 watts, 340 megahash. This thing is insane. But one of its huge advantages that this has over the other Jazz miners is that this one has 8 gigs of RAM. So that way our DAG size, we would be good until towards, 2030. I mean, we could obviously go to calculate the DAG size on the DAG size calculator, but you would definitely be set for quite a while. And maybe you could even dual mine like you can with the iPolos. These are running currently, it's a pre-sale, $3,099. Again, if you order from Jingle Mining or any of these sites that are not in the US, you're looking at taxes, fees, import costs, which is going to be a little more or a little different than us buying here in the US. But if this is something you're really interested in, their staff is really, really good, really helpful. I've been working with Victoria at Jingle Mining, and she has really put together different packages in which I can maximize my order as far as price and how many units I get. So I definitely recommend that you reach out to these guys and talk to, again, I've been talking to Victoria, very, very kind, and she knows her stuff and has really been giving me really good deals. So this is what I'm looking to go with. And what I want to do now is, now that I showed you where I came from, where I'm looking to go to, I want to show you the numbers so that all of this makes sense. Let's look at this Excel spreadsheet I put together. Here's an Excel spreadsheet that I put together to kind of make the numbers make sense. Numbers and just putting it together, it just gives me the picture of whether or not this makes sense. Does it make sense? What am I doing? And what I wanted to do is I want to give you the cost of new GPUs versus used GPUs, which is what's going on now. Obviously, during the Ethereum merge, you could not get these GPUs at these new prices. MSRP, you were paying 2, 3, sometimes 4 times the amount of the MSRP price. But anyway, what I wanted to do is to just, if you wanted to go to Best Buy or you wanted to go to Micro Center and you wanted to buy brand new GPUs, that's what you're looking at buying with the new price. And this was my farm. I had 25 3060 Ti's, non-LHRs. I was getting 60 megahash per GPU on the 3060 Ti. The MSRP is $399.99. Again, when I got these, I was paying much more. Each GPU was running around 130 watts. This whole setup right here, these 25 3060 Ti's, was giving me a total of 1,500 megahash. And if I went by the MSRP at $400 times 25, that was right there at $10,000. Paid more than that. In the rigs, I also had 13080 per open air rig. So I had 5 of them. I was getting about 100 megahash per 3080. Again, $779 MSRP. Paid more than that. Around 230 watts is what these guys were using. The total that I was getting from these 500 megahash and MSRP price, we're looking around $3,900. I did have one 3090 that was mining too. It was on my main PC, and whenever I wasn't using it for whatever my main stuff was, and I don't keep financial stuff on my main PC, but this one was running as well. So I went on ahead and I wanted to include it because it was using that power. This PC stayed on 24 hours a day. This one 3090, get about 120 megahash. The price today, $959. The price when I got this, the MSRP was $1,500, I believe it was, but you were paying more than that. 320 watts, 120 megahash from this total one. And what I wanted to do was to add up the total watts and the total price, and to show you what this total operation, if I had got these things at MSRP, what it would have been, which was right around $15,000. My total farm watts, 4,720 watts. And then my Megahash, 2,120. Now, if we look at the prices, and I created an eBay used price, like if you were out there buying GPUs today, and these are the prices that whenever I looked them up on eBay, what you would be paying today. And it's around, from MSRP, around $5,000 cheaper than what you would have paid at the height of, or if you were able to get these at MSRP. Now above that, I went ahead and created a jazz miner, the 3 jazz miners that, the Qs are the ones that I'm looking at just because they're whisper quiet. You can put them throughout the house, because ASIC miners are notorious for having extremely loud noises. So I don't know if there would be noise complaints, neighbors complaining, wife complaining. So I wanted to make sure that I went with something like this, like the quiet server types, which is why I'm looking at the Qs. If you look, the quantity, the miner, the megahash, this is per miner, the price per miner, the wattage per miner. And then if I was to get, and what I wanted to do is I wanted to kind of come to how many of each of these jazz miners could I put together to get around this same megahash as what I had before with my system set up. And this is what I got. If I went with the X4QZ, which is a quiet server, it's one of the newer ones, 840 megahash per miner. Each miner at this time of recording, which is December 12th, 2022, on Jingle Mining is 1649. Each miner uses 380 watts. So if I used 3 of them, it would get me at, 2,520. If I change this to 2, it's putting me way below that 2120. So I just went ahead and said, okay, if it was 3. Now, really important, look at this. This would be $5,000 plus your taxes and fees and costs like that, whatever, because everyone's different based on where they live. But 5,000 versus, I didn't include taxes and shipping and fees here, 10,000. So it's 50% cheaper. And look at the wattage, 1140 versus, well, I just said this right here, but I mean, I got to look at the whole thing. 1140 watts versus 4,720. And I'm getting about 400 more megahash. Actually, it's saving about 10 grand on that one. That's just how big these ASIC miners are. Now, the one that I'm getting a couple of right here are the X4Q. Each one has 1,040 megahash. It runs at 370 watts, and you can tell that it's running 10 watts lower than the one at 840 megahash. So to me, it just makes sense to go with this one to have the maximum megahash. Again, these miners, I think, were around 15 grand or higher whenever they first came out as well. Anyway, 370 watts. With 2 of them, I'm getting 2080 megahash. Again, my farm setup was 2120 megahash, so it's a little lower. Look at my total cost and price. 4160 versus almost 15 grand. What a difference. The wattage. Look at these wattage. Look at this wattage. 740 watts versus 4,720. Again, these two, I can only mine the ETC coins with the 5 gigabyte DAG size, which is what I put here. And then the new one coming out in May, the 8 gigabyte, which would be able to mine any ETC and Ethash algorithm. 1845 megahash, 3,099 cost. We're running at 630 watts. So with just one, and I know I'm well under this. If I was to add 2, it would be well over, but with just one, look at the megahash comparison. Look at the cost, $3,099 versus almost $15,000, right? Look at the wattage usage, 630 watts versus 4,720. If I was, you know what I'm going to do right now? I'm going to change the quantity and try to match that wattage that my old farm was running and see how high of a megahash I can get and try to get at that same wattage just to see. Let me play with that right now. What I've done right here is I've gone in and I've changed the quantity to try to match my megahash output my wattage output that I had with my open air rigs, my 5 open air rigs. Now, the one thing I've been talking about the most is the MSRP. Obviously, underneath this, if you go on eBay, you can buy used GPUs from different people and vendors for substantially cheaper. And that's, again, but I've just been talking MSRP because this is brand new. This is brand new. This is what you're looking at. Another thing to take note of is this only involves GPUs. You really have to also factor in that you need a motherboard, you need RAM, you need hard drives, you need a rig. You need a frame. And most people these days are using like OctoMiners or Miner Dude, some sort of server case. And you're looking at somewhere between $500 to $1,000 per rig. So maybe you could add in, $3,000 to $5,000 to these prices because it's kind of pointless with just GPUs. You need these other things. And that's something I didn't put in here, but just wanted you to make note that you will need motherboards and other components, which you could probably add in around, $3 to $5 grand, depending on what kind of deals you could get and what you go with open air rigs versus server cases. But what I did is I added in like the first one. You could get 13 of these for 4,940 watts. That's giving you 10,920 megahash compared to 2120. What a difference. The price, again, this is all inclusive. There's nothing else that you need to buy. Whereas down here, you are going to have to spend $3 to $5 grand to complete your rig so that you can use it. So they're very comparable when looking at the new prices here and the new prices here. The X4Q, which is what I've previously ordered from Jingle Mining with Victoria, 13 of them gives us 4,810 watts. Again, our farm was using 4,720. I am spending a little bit more. That would be around $27,000. But look at my megahash, 13,520. I could change this to 12 if I wanted to, and we can really reduce that down quite a bit. Maybe that's even better to compare it this way. Okay, so for around $25,000. So it would be a little bit more than putting together the open air rigs. However, look at the megahash that you're getting compared to your open air rigs. 2120 versus 12,480. 6 times, over 6 times. And then the new one coming out, again, see, you just keep cutting it in half. That's how amazing these ASICs are. So instead of needing 12 or 13, you only need 7. You're running at 4410 versus 4720, and you're getting almost 13,000 megahash compared to the 2120. Same power, actually, a little bit less, and way more mega hash. That way you can really take advantage of that bull run and creating that coin at really cheap power costs. And you could even put some of these on other algorithms depending on what coin is going on, depending on the one that you get as far as what it supports. And this is why I'm doing this. I've noticed a lot of pivoting here and there with ASICs, but because ASICs have been so expensive, 20,000, 30,000, you need to order 50, you need to order 25. It's like, who's doing this? These huge farms were doing it. But now, because of the market, little guys like me and other small time miners can help level the playing field, if you will, a little bit, and get into some of these once very high cost ASICs and take advantage of this mega hash versus power usage. One other quick little snapshot that I wanted to show you is that if we go to WhatToMine and we type in for ETH hash and ETC, the mega hash and wattage and I put it at 13 cents, what would we get as far as profits compared to my open air 5 GPU rig versus if I would have had the Jazz Miner X4Q? So here it is with that open air rig. I had 2120 mega hash and I put it on both Ethereum and Ethereum Classic. And I was running a wattage of 4,720. I've unchecked all the other algorithms and then do calculate. And you will see right here what I got. Now, if you can mine a nice hash, obviously you're getting the higher payout, but just look, even at the highest payout, if I was paying for power, again, I'm not, negative $6.78 after power. And then down here in green is if you're mining Ethereum Classic, minus $9.96. If I jump over to putting in the same with the X4Q, the 440 watts, this is based off of the previous Excel spreadsheet that I had right here. See, all right. But anyway, we're at 12,480 mega hash with 4,440 watts. I left it at 13 cents. We do calculate. And then you can see right here, even at paying 13 cents, you're making $32.93 a day. Or if you come down to, if you're just selling straight Ethereum Classic, $14.18 after power. I don't pay power, so I'm at $28 or $46, whatever is going on for the day. So that just goes to show, if you just look at the numbers and you look at what you would have based on wattage with the mega hash of each setup, the difference in profits that you would have. Pretty interesting. That kind of summarizes what I was really wanting to achieve in this video, was to tell you in one picture where I've been. And that's kind of the downfall of me not documenting my journey from the very beginning and how I got 5 open air rigs and that whole process and putting that together and building those rigs and learning how to build them and tear them down and fixing this and fixing that. It was so much learning because I'd never learned how to build a computer before. This is how I learned how to build computers, from watching other YouTubers and the lessons they learned, and then they passed it on to me, and I was able to take advantage of all that knowledge. If we just, I mean, this is what I have. This is what I have to remember where I came from. And what I really like about doing this YouTube channel is continuing to document and really look back and laugh and learn about the stages that I've gone through and where I'm at. So that's what I'm doing. This is where I'm going. I will have GPUs, when the next bull run is starting to ramp up, get GPUs for other algorithms that you can only mine with GPUs. But right now, this is what makes sense. At the price of these ASICs, with the barrier being so high sometimes to get into, right now we can do that. And that's what I'm doing. And that's what I'm doing. So I hope you enjoy this video. We'll see you on the next one.